She doesn't fall for what you say. She falls for what you radiate. And most men have no idea what they're leaking into the room. I want you to understand something that was never taught to you directly, because if it were, it would make you uncontrollable. Attraction is not created by tactics, lines, or performance. It's created by an internal state that women detect faster than you can fake a smile. A woman's nervous system is always scanning for one thing first: safety mixed with intensity. Not comfort, not niceness. Safety and danger in the same body. That paradox is the spark. Masculine power is quiet. It doesn't rush. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't seek approval. The men women feel pulled toward aren't trying to be impressive. They're grounded in themselves so deeply that their presence reorganizes the emotional temperature of the space. When you walk into a room carrying certainty, your body speaks before your mouth ever opens. Your shoulders slow, your breath deepens, your eyes don't dart around asking permission to exist. This is not confidence as arrogance. This is self-trust made visible. Here's the truth most men resist. Women are aroused by emotional leadership before physical attraction even registers. Emotional leadership means you are not reactive. You don't chase validation. You don't collapse when energy shifts. If she pulls back, you don't scramble. If she tests you, you don't argue. You remain centered, and that calm steadiness signals something ancient in her brain. It says, this man can hold pressure, and holding pressure is erotic. Masculine men don't try to control women, they control themselves. That distinction is everything. When a woman senses that you are ungoverned by fear, she relaxes into her feminine instincts. She feels permission to feel, to soften, to respond, to desire. Attraction ignites when she realizes she doesn't have to manage your emotions. You are not a project, you are a presence. Most men leak neediness without realizing it. It shows up in over-explaining, in joking to relieve tension, in constantly checking if she's okay, in shaping themselves into what they think she wants. That behavior communicates one thing: I don't trust myself to be enough. And the female psyche does not feel turned on by a man who is unsure of his own value. Desire requires polarity. Polarity requires difference. Difference requires that you stand firmly in who you are, even if it risks disapproval. The raw, attractive power you're looking for isn't something you add. It's something you stop giving away. Stop abandoning yourself to be liked. Stop negotiating your boundaries. Stop rushing intimacy to avoid uncertainty. When you become comfortable with silence, with tension, with not being chosen immediately, you transmit strength without effort, and that strength is felt instantly. Women don't fall for men who try harder. They fall for men who are harder to shake emotionally because they are rooted, regulated, and unafraid of their own edge. Attraction deepens when a woman senses that you are not trying to extract something from her. Most men approach women with an invisible hunger. They want affirmation, relief from loneliness, proof of worth. Even when they hide it behind charm, the body reveals it. Tension in the jaw, restless hands, a voice that rises at the end of sentences, asking for approval. The masculine men who ignite desire are empty of that hunger, not because they don't want connection, but because they are already full within themselves. Self-containment is magnetic. When you can experience desire without being driven by it, you become dangerous in the most attractive way. A woman feels that she can move toward you without being consumed by your need. This is why men who are busy, purposeful, and emotionally regulated often attract without effort. Their lives have weight. Their time has value. Their attention is not cheap. Scarcity is not a trick. It is a byproduct of a man who honors himself. Here is a psychological truth many men misunderstand. Emotional intensity does not mean emotional volatility. Women are not drawn to chaos. They are drawn to depth. Depth is the capacity to feel strongly without losing control. When you can sit with discomfort, jealousy, attraction, or uncertainty without acting impulsively, you signal maturity. That maturity tells her you can handle her emotions too. Not fix them, not suppress them, simply hold them. Masculine polarity is built through boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are standards. When you say no calmly, when you walk away from disrespect without drama, when you don't overstay where you are tolerated instead of desired, you communicate self-respect. And self-respect is one of the most erotic traits a man can possess. A woman feels safer surrendering to a man who will not betray himself to keep her. Notice how your body responds to pressure. Do you tighten and perform, or do you ground and breathe? Women read your nervous system more than your words. If you collapse under stress, she feels it. If you stay present, she relaxes. Presence is the gateway to attraction. It is felt in your pacing, your pauses, your ability to listen without disappearing. When you stop trying to be chosen, you become choosable. When you stop chasing sparks, you become the fire. This shift is subtle, but seismic. It happens the moment you decide that your worth is not negotiated in someone else's reactions. From that place, your masculinity stops being an act and becomes a force. A woman may not consciously articulate this, but her body knows immediately. She leans in, her voice softens, her eyes linger, not because you impressed her, but because your steadiness gave her permission to feel desire without fear. That permission is rare. Cultivate it by choosing discipline over impulse, silence over over-explanation, and alignment over approval. Every time you do, your presence sharpens and attraction follows without effort. This is the quiet edge that separates boys performing masculinity from men embodying it fully, and women feel that difference instantly, viscerally, and deeply. The most misunderstood element of masculine attraction is emotional restraint. Not suppression, restraint. Suppression is fear-based. Restraint is power-based. A restrained man feels everything, yet chooses his responses deliberately. This choice is intoxicating to a woman because it signals mastery, not over her, but over himself. And self-mastery is the foundation of trust, respect, and desire. Many men believe being emotionally available means constantly sharing, explaining, and revealing. But mystery is not created by silence alone. It's created by depth that unfolds slowly. When you don't rush to define the connection, when you allow attraction to breathe instead of cornering it, you activate anticipation. Anticipation is where desire lives. The feminine psyche thrives in the space between knowing and discovering. When you rush clarity to soothe your anxiety, you collapse that space. A grounded man does not interrogate attraction. He experiences it. He allows uncertainty without panicking. This is why patience is erotic. Patience communicates that you are not afraid of loss. Fearlessness around loss is one of the strongest masculine signals. It tells her, I want you, but I don't need you to be okay. That distinction removes pressure and replaces it with freedom. And freedom is where genuine attraction grows. Your masculine core strengthens every time you choose integrity over impulse. When you don't text out of loneliness. When you don't stay where you feel disrespected. When you don't trade your values for temporary affection. Each of these moments trains your nervous system to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, others can feel it. Women are drawn to men who feel solid inside because solidity offers something rare, emotional safety without emotional dependency. Attraction fades when a man becomes predictable in his emotional reactions, not stable, predictable. Stability is consistency of values. Predictability is emotional flatness or emotional overreaction. Masculine polarity lives in grounded unpredictability, the sense that you are steady, yet alive, calm, yet capable of intensity, soft-spoken, yet firm when it matters. This balance creates intrigue without chaos. A woman becomes aroused when she senses that you are leading your own life, that you are not waiting to be activated by her interest, that your happiness is not on hold. Purpose is not about ambition alone, it's about direction. Direction tells her that being with you is an addition, not a rescue mission. No woman wants to feel responsible for a man's sense of meaning. Your body language often betrays your inner world. A man who trusts himself moves differently, slower, more intentional. He doesn't fidget to manage anxiety. He doesn't fill silence to avoid tension. Silence doesn't scare him because he knows who he is without noise. That calm presence anchors attraction at a subconscious level. When you stop seeking reassurance, you start transmitting certainty. When you stop proving, you start inviting. Masculine power is not loud, it's unmistakable. It doesn't ask for attention, it commands respect by existing fully. And when a woman senses that your center cannot be easily shaken, something deep within her responds instinctively. This is the raw, unteachable quality most men chase unsuccessfully. It's not built by imitation, it's built by alignment. And alignment comes from choosing self-respect, again and again, especially when no one is watching. The final truth is the one most men avoid because it demands responsibility instead of hope. The attractive power you want is not something a woman gives you. It is something she responds to. And she responds only when your masculinity is lived, not imagined. Masculinity is built in private decisions, not public moments. It's forged when you choose discipline over comfort, direction over distraction, and truth over approval. A man becomes instantly attractive when his life has structure. Not rigidity, but structure. He wakes up with intention. He moves his body with purpose. He sharpens his mind instead of numbing it. He He doesn't outsource his emotional regulation to substances, screens, or people. When a woman senses that your life is ordered, she instinctively trusts you more. Order signals leadership. Chaos signals risk. Desire follows trust. Here is the uncomfortable part. Women are turned on by men who could walk away, not because they want to be abandoned, but because freedom creates choice. When you are capable of leaving, your staying becomes meaningful. A man who stays because he chooses to, not because he fears loneliness, creates emotional gravity. That gravity pulls her in without force. Masculine presence is also expressed through decisiveness, not dominance, decisiveness. When you can make choices without excessive justification, you communicate certainty. Certainty calms the feminine nervous system. It tells her she doesn't need to carry the weight of direction. She can relax into response. Attraction thrives when polarity is clear. You do not need to perform confidence. You need to live in alignment with your values. Confidence is the byproduct of kept promises to yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when it's uncomfortable, you strengthen your masculine core. That core is felt immediately. Women may not name it, but they feel it as groundedness, depth, and strength. A masculine man does not rush outcomes. He allows attraction to unfold organically. He doesn't pressure for validation, commitment, or reassurance. Pressure suffocates desire. Patience fuels it. When you are unattached to immediate results, your energy shifts from grasping to grounded. That shift is palpable. The raw power that turns a woman on instantly is not aggression, manipulation, or aloofness. It is emotional self-sufficiency paired with presence. You are there, fully. You are interested, but not dependent. You are open, but not porous. You lead yourself first, and that leadership extends naturally into connection. When a woman encounters a man like this, her body responds before her mind can intervene. She feels curiosity instead of caution, desire instead of analysis, safety instead of pressure. That response is instinctive and immediate because it touches something ancient and biological. Now, I want to leave you with a question that only you can answer honestly. Where in your life are you still abandoning your standards just to feel chosen? Answer that in the comments. Say it plainly. If this resonated, like the video, subscribe for more truths most men never hear, and share this with a friend who needs to reclaim his masculine center before he loses himself trying to be liked.